Hey, okay, so this could either end up being a one part, two part, three part. Depends how much waffle time I do. So this time, what I'm doing an overlook of um, AWA Upshot, which who do things like Year Zero. Just trying to. Yeah, it was a company that was set up by Axel Alonso and Bill Gemus, who both had, if you remember, they kind of like reinvigorated Marvel back in the 90s, early 2000s with Marvel Knights, etc. And Axel Alonso was a really, really good editor. So yeah, they decided to go it themselves, set up their own company, and they did all things like this. And he took quite a bit of talent with them. Mike Diodato Jr. is like one of the major artists. It's a bit embarrassing saying his name now since that little outburst he had about the Submariner. If you don't know what that is, just Google it. He basically had like a late midlife crisis, saying, "Ooh, I look better than the Submariner." Anyway, that's a digression. See, this is what I do, I digress. But at least today, I'm not going to faff about with my hair because I've got bangs, so hopefully that solves it. But yeah, so Axel Alonso and Bill Geum set up this company so that they could do one and done stories or a series of stories, but you don't need to buy every book, every series linked to that series. Like, so you did have some series that were a shared universe, like they got Mike Straczynski to do a series which was like their version of the X-Men. But I'll go through all those. But I think I'm going to put a tagline on this saying, "Is this the new Vertigo?" Because in my mind, I think this is the closest we've got nowadays to a Vertigo company where it's consistent artwork and consistent storytelling, and they're not punching down. They're making it. They are books for adults, and they do some more all ages ones, but they are predominantly books for comics for grown-ups. They're treating comic readers with respect, because majority of comic readers now are people in their 30s, 40s upwards, because they've followed from like 1990s boom onwards when Image started. And so they're not pandering down, they're not making it gimmicky. There's not the only, like when they bring out the comics, they only do two covers normally. They like do a main one and then an alternate one. Whereas you get other companies and do like 25 billion different covers for a comic. They don't do crossovers, which is refreshing. And like I said, they normally type a story within about 4, 5 or 6 issues. The only one I think that went over was the Garth Ennis one, Marjorie Finnegan. I've not got that one yet. So I'm going to show you what I've got anyway. I've got quite a selection of the stuff in trade paperbacks. And what's good about the trade paperbacks, they come out normally about 2 months after the last issue of the miniseries that they're going to collect, and normally about $9.99, which is ridiculously cheap for a graphic novel. So I'm slowly just building up my collection of trade paperbacks of the back catalogue, but I do like getting the monthly issues because they're very Moorish, which the one of the few companies will buy it without even questioning it. I'll just buy it and then see if I like it. There's only been one recent one I've not enjoyed, which is A New Think, and it's a clever idea, but I just couldn't warm to the concept. So I gave up. I might even get it in trade paperback. I might have a change of mind, but I'm just not getting it in the floppy version. So I'll go through what I've got in the trade paperbacks first. And like I said, I've got a feeling this could end up being 2 videos. So I just do the trade paperbacks and just give like an overview of them. So one of the earlier ones that they did was Grendel Kentucky, written by Jeff McComsey and illustrated by Tommy Lee Edwards, who did quite a lot of stuff. Tommy Lee Edwards did quite a lot of stuff back in the day. I think he studied under Howard Shakin, so he's got very good illustration chops. So that's the cover. Like I said, it's only $9.99. It's a 4-issue series, this one. What I like about how they've done it, they've done like the covers like film posters. I'll show you the covers first. This one I actually only finished today. I've had it in my bookshelf for a while, just never got around to it until today. But the artwork is absolutely fantastic. I don't want to go into too much because it's got such a brilliant twist. And it's set in a place called Grendel, Kentucky. Set in the 1970s. It's about this kind of like biker gang. So they're outlaws, but they're kind of like they're outlaws, but the town needs them, if you get what I mean. But there's something in the coal mines, and the clue is in the title Grendel, Kentucky. If you know your mythology and your history, or your old ancient fantasy tales, Grendel appears in that. So it's a reimagining basically. So if you imagine like a biker film meets Beowulf, that's what you get. So highly recommended. Absolutely amazing artwork. And then from there you go to Redemption. I've not actually read this one, but it's written by Krista Faust. I've read her Hit Me series, which I'll come to later on, and she's great. She's one of the, I think she's like the natural heir apparent to Andy Shanty. She does very hard-boiled stories, and she does strong female characters without it being just for the sake of doing a strong female character, if you get what I mean. And it's Mike Deodato doing the artwork. And if you look at that, you can see he's obviously referencing very popular film actors. And I'm not going to say who you can work out for yourself. But yeah, the artwork's very, very good. This is basically like a post-apocalyptic western. So you had me there with western and post-apocalyptic. So yeah, I'll be diving into this. But again, only $9.99 and very high quality artwork. And it was going to be a good story with Krista Faust on it. And the next one is a series of 2 books by a writer I first came to know through the rebirth of Green Arrow, Benjamin Percy. And then he obviously went on to Wolverine and X-Factor, X-Force, I think. Yeah, X-Force. Yeah, X-Force. I was right, I'm doubting myself, but I was right. But he's done these 2 books, and there's a 3rd series coming out soon, which you'll get in floppies, and that's Year Zero, so that's Volume 1, that's Volume 2. They've got different artists on both series. The first series is artwork is done by Ramon Rosales with colouring by Lee Luffridge, and it is pardon me, very good. It's basically doing like a fresh spin on the zombie outbreak story, where it doesn't really focus on the zombies, it focuses on the effects of the zombie virus on everyday people and people from all across not just across the country but across the world, which is great. It's not just American centric, unlike a lot of these type of books. So it gives a much wider, gives you almost like a glimpses and snapshots instead of just like one story. But yeah, first one is very solid, really good writing, very good artwork. It got on the reviews at the back, it's been given 9 out of 10 by quite a few people. So yeah, excellent first volume. Second volume, the artwork is different. It's by Juan Jose Rip. So very different in style. And this one, I think it just stays to one area. Yes, it's a different area this time, and it's more about and it's set on a boat as well, Norwegian boat. This is what I'm saying. It's not American centric like a lot of these type of books. Benjamin Percy realizes there's life outside of America, or well, there was life before the zombies took over. And the artwork is just spectacular. So can't wait for this latest season to start, which is in about 2 weeks' time, I think. And then another book. This one came out a bit more recently. And again, £9.99, and that's got. I must admit, I got this more for the arts. I don't know what it's like as a writer, and it's Fight Girls by Frank Cho. And this, it says it's 10 women, 4 challenges, 1 crown, winner rules the empire. 10 hard as nails women face off in an ancient contest of champions, where the winner truly takes all, the title of Queen of the Galaxy. To win the challenge, each contestant must survive the hazards of the planet's harsh landscape, predators on and below its surface, and their fellow contestants. But like I said, I honestly did buy it for the artwork. I've not read it yet. I mean, if the story's good, that'll be that'll be a bonus. But he's such a nice artist. So yeah, looking forward to it. It looks like it'd be a fun riff on the old sexploitation movies back in the 70s. Not wine, juice. And then next, another Christopher House one. Red Mother, again with Mike Diodato doing the artwork. That's just amazing, that cover. This it's called Baking Bad. A nerve-wracking thriller, and basically a woman who takes on crime syndicate when her daughter gets kidnapped. So if you notice, she's hanging up thing and it's all covered in blood, smiling like your suburban mum. So again, another one I've not read. I basically got a chunk of them because they were so cheap. Amazon sometimes does good offers, and like I said, the £9.99 full price anyway. But with even extra special offer, they were so cheap. I just picked up a batch of them. So yeah, that's next on my to read list. And then Knighted. This is by Greg Hurwitz and the comic legend that is Mark Texeira, who I've not seen or heard from in years. He used to do loads of stuff for Marvel. He's kind of refined his art style a bit in this. Now this is set in a universe of the Resistance, which is the J. Michael Straczynski universe. So it's superhero based, but it's got much more grit than Marvel or DC. It's just got a much more mature, grown up way of approaching superheroes. That was my hand, by the way, because it's just adjusting. Yeah, and they just how AWA approaches superheroes. It's how I'd imagine. The closer I could put it to like 2000 AD doing it, where it's got that more grit and a bit more grounded than Marvel and that. There's not like these big epic showdowns all the time. All these villains giving 20-page monologues to explain why they're doing what they're doing. And it shows a wider effect that both their actions have in society. You know, it's like the ripple effect. So if they knock down a building, somebody's going to get hurt. You know. And then another Benjamin Percy one, and this is Devil's Highway. This is drawn by Brent Schoonover. This is just a really great thriller series. Set in the world of haulage truckers. And there's a secret society within these haulage truckers, and I don't want to give too much away because you need to read it. It's a real like oh my god kind of thing. Quite a lot. It's got cool conspiracy theories in. It's got hints and shades of Seven. It's a good thriller. It's dark, but there's humour in it as well. Percy's a good thriller writer. He does a good balance between humour and darkness. What I like about even though the £9.99, the AWA graphic novels always have extras in the back. So like this one shows character sketches. But like I said, I don't want to say too much. There's been two. Yeah, I think I'm reading the second series at the moment. I think so. Yeah. So I've got this first one in graphic, and I've got the others in floppies. And then one series that it just took off. It's one of the best horror series from any comic company of the past few years, and that's Hotel or Hell, and that's by John Lees, who's making a real name for himself now, Scottish I think he is, with Dalibor Talajic doing the artwork in Volume 1, and it's an anthology set within this hotel, with individual stories that tie up at the end, and well worth reading. If you're fans of things like Red Room, Silver Coin, Twilight Zone, you'll enjoy it. And that's the second volume. Same team on it again. Very, very nice art style, suited to this kind of weird horror. And again, it has loads of extras in the back. Again, $9.99. Hey, nose is starting to run again. I wondered when that was going to make an appearance. And then another one which caused a huge ripple this year was Not All Robots by Mark Russell. Mike Diodato. Mike Diodato, I think, must be the house artist. He's done quite a few series. But yeah, I love the layouts in this. And this just gives a fresh spin of on things like Asimov's I, Robot. Basically, it's like a gentle satire but very dark undercurrents about what would happen if the robots took over, when it starts off being your service droids and then end up basically demanding sentient rights, and humanity just becomes more and more lazy and reliant on them. And these all tie in to the Resistance, which is the universe that J. Michael Straczynski thought up. It's basically his version. I'd say it's like a real life version of the. It's like a cross between X-Men and Wicked and Divine. So some characters in the Resistance are called moths, where they become superhuman, but like moths, they burn out after a finite period. So it's like you become the most ultimate superhero, but you're not guaranteed to live longer than a year or so. So that's that series. That's drawn by Mike Chai. Now this one, I really don't like the artwork. It looks like bad computer generated artwork, this one. It's the first AWA comic where I just bought it for the writer, and the artwork I was like, ooh. But it all ties into this Resistance universe. So this is the first book, The Resistance. Highly, highly recommend it. Great storytelling. Again, Mike Diodato on the artwork. And again, lots of extras, like the thought process behind the story, and sketches, etc. And then from that, there was the Resistance Uprising, which is the sequel to that. So Moss comes after these two. I just did it out of order. Okay, saying this time it's C.P. Smith. I think he's a much stronger artist to Diodato Jr. Not as much photo referencing by the looks of it. Not as much light box use. So yeah, all worth reading though. Really good conspiracy laden superheroes. Then one of my main guys, Pete Milligan, came onto AWA and he's become a regular now, regularizer on them. I think he's just found his voice. It's very similar. It's like they're giving him as much freedom what he had in Vertigo, and the books where he does has a similar vibe. So there's American Ronin, which is business is war, war is over, democracy an illusion, real power now lies with nations, not with nation states but huge corporations. And they hire out a Ronin to solve corporation problems, and the artwork is just spectacular. And yeah, they give a thought process bit behind it. So that's all the books, the collections have gone. I think we've got about 8 or 9 more collections to get. So I've got the full back catalogue of AW as well as the ongoing floppies. So this is the end of part 1. Part 2, I'll do the floppies, the ongoing series. Okay, bye.